and now we bring in the Band-Aid child. You know, that's what a lot of toxic relationships always do. Whenever you're having a rough time, you're like, hey, let's have another kid or whatever it is. So in this case, you know, they bring in Claudia. You know, so now we bring in Claudia, who shows up in the movie as Kirsten Dunst and in the show as Bailey Bass. And from what I understand, so finding out from the last time we talked about this, in the book, Claudia is like 5
or 6
or 7 something, which is holy crap. That changes the character completely. They aged her up in the movie.
You know, it's even more uncomfortable if you really realize like the stuff with her and Louis. It's really uncomfortable.
Yeah. So they aged the first version of her up in Kirsten Dunst. She's about 14, I think, or 13, somewhere around there. And then they aged her up again in this show where she's about 18, 19.
I think she's still only like in the TV. I think she's only like 15 or 16, man.
I think so.
She's 15,
She's
15
and in the film,
Okay.
she's around 12-ish.
She's super young.
It goes from 5 to 12 to 15. And 15 makes sense because you still look like a child, but you have all the adult.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're like right there on that border, I think.
Yeah, that's when
7 years old in the book.
Yeah, I'd seen the same reaction. Now that you know that character, and you're just like,
about her and Louis, you're like, some of the stuff they show in the book is like,
she's 14 in the show.
I thought she's.
I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, like 14, 15, and no older than 15, I don't think. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, she was able to pass as a college student, so you got to be old enough. But obviously, she's not that old. I mean, real life, she's 19, but
you can do that though, you know.
It's not but true. I mean, this day and age, man.
You see kids at 15 that
it's crazy.
They act like they're 19. So.
Yeah. But I'm pretty glad they aged her up, and I mean, one, it'd be hard to find a 5-year-old to be an actual like actress like that. I mean, you already had Kirsten Dunst at an early age doing a great job. Bailey Bass is 19 in real life, so they're both very young. But yeah, I think you had to age up those characters. But with that being said, we'll start off with Sergio. What do you think about Claudia in the book, or not in the book, but in the show and in the movie?
I loved Kirsten Dunst's performance in the film, man. It might even be better than Cruz's, to be honest. Fuck, it was so good, man. I was blown up. I said, how old is she in real life? You know,
like at the time she's like 11. Like she's really that age.
Young.
Crazy, you know. So I mean, just straight up kudos to that performance and the actor, man. She, especially for such a young age, I think. Again, I don't know how it compares to the book, but just as standalone, the performance was great. And I'll say, at least, so now that I've seen Dunst and you've got the TV version, I'll say this: at least initially, I was not a fan of Claudia on the show.
Okay,
I think the episode that she first came on, it might have been 4 or 5. That was my least favorite episode. And it was, I wasn't feeling that kind of super bratish personality, but also it messed with the dynamic of the show. I think the strength of the show was between Louis and Homie and Lestat, right? So, but once she her character got past that almost, that
pre-adolescent pain in the ass being
exactly, and she matured as a character, then I kind of was able to appreciate the performance on its own, right? Which I thought was dope on the on the TV show as well. Head to head, I don't know. I'd probably have to give it to Kirsten Dunst though, just because of the fact she was a younger actor at the time, and some of those scenes, man, like you've got a kid holding her own with like Pitt and Cruz, like, yo, forget it, man. Like, take that in. It's incredible, man. Yeah.
All right, Brandon, what you got?
I'm actually, as much as I loved Bailey Bass in this role, I'm gonna have to agree with Sergio. I'd have to hand this one over to Kirsten Dunst to have done, to have held her own amongst the likes of Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, Antonio Banderas. That was really impressive. I think at a young age, because 94, so that would have made her probably about like 10, 11 when they were filming the movie.
That's wild.
When they were making the movie. And that takes acting chops. That's impressive. Bailey Bass, much older, is pushing 20 years old when they were making the show by the time it came out as well. So I think she had a little more experience and longevity under her belt than Dunst did. So, Kirsten really set the standard pretty high, for anyone who came after her. I think that she did, as great as Bailey did. Whoever took over the role from Kirsten Dunst was always going to be in her shadow. So I'd have to hand this one over to Kirsten Dunst.
Yeah. You want to go, Brian?
Yeah. So, I mean, we talk about book Claudia is 5. That's just blows my mind. That's too much. I can't even. I don't even want to process the things I need to process in order to even go there. So
I'm Chris Hansen with Dateline NBC.
Exactly. It's too much for me.
The movement of the cops kicking down the door coming down.
Exactly. Kirsten Dunst did amazing. She's probably my favorite part of the entire movie. Like, I love Tom Cruise, but she's probably my favorite part of the entire movie. But because she's 12, there's parts that she could not do for me to be believable. As far as from the some of the scenes, sexual scenes, like wouldn't make me believable. So it's hard seeing at that young age. What I like about Bailey Bass is that, once again, because I have little girls, and I saw a lot of my little girls in the way she was acting, even if it was bad and it was, just annoying and, doing things that you're like, that's so stupid. That's what my girls do. That's what they do. So it made me believe what she was doing. Right. So I enjoyed that part of it. I enjoyed her growing up because her arc was better. The TV show's arc is better than the movie's arc. I think Kirsten Dunst is great the entire movie, but it's the same greatness. I believe in this TV show, you have more of, she goes through these ups and downs. I do not like the rape scene. I know you're not supposed to say the word. I hate that scene. It's too much for me to even handle. But besides that, it shows how strong she is. And when she starts to really use her mind to beat Lestat and to start to set up this whole plan and be stronger than Louis because he's in this toxic relationship, it was so special and unbelievable to me to see that kind of fall through. And that's why I think I sided with the Bailey Bass's character, because I feel like it was harder to do. But not that I'm trying to take anything from Kirsten Dunst, because I think she was amazing. But I think that was harder to do, and that arc was really special to me.
Yeah. No. What was that? I always say Kristen. Kirsten.
Yeah,
Kristen,
it's hard.
Dunst. Yeah, it's the I and R and all that. But Dunst, she that movie changed the direction of her career. I mean, it put her on another level where you're like, oh, you're able to stand toe to toe with Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt and be better than Brad Pitt in that movie.
And Antonio Banderas and be better than everybody else.
And she was 12 or whatever age she was. So that definitely wow, that was insane. And I liked her acting in it was really good. But for me, Bailey Bass was more believable, and I think, like you said, I think the character's arc also was better, because I know where is it? Oh, that Cookie. I saw this. Like Claudia's introduction was rough for me. That accent, almost a Southern parody, but I loved her after episode 4, and I thought it was the strongest arc.
That was
The accent
too. That accent, man, was rough.
It was
bro.
real rough.
It took me out.
It was bad. It was bad. Because then it was like, yeah, you're kind of like doing
Southern
that parody.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know, but also like it made a little bit more sense for me because at least Louis he spoke with a little bit more
class,
but also she's 14, doesn't know how to read, doesn't know how to write, obviously. Like she's, you know, in a poor part of town, you know,
playing a part in the part that she's playing the part. You know what I'm saying? Like it's you know, it's mind warping. You're like, you're doing this because you can't do this.
You know, so but I mean, they kind of do that in TV now when you get like a young black character who's like from the hood and didn't go to school, and they talk with, you know, like a different lingo, you know, vernacular, you know. So, you know, was it AAVE? I think it's being called now. You know, so. But they do that as a trope, like, oh, but then you cut to like, you know, either like an educated person or something like that, you know, they show on TV. It's like, oh, this person speaks correctly, you know, and it's such a silly thing. And I think they went that route with her early on, because you can see her talking from episode 4 and her talking at the end of episode 7. That's a completely different character. But that's also being a 14-year-old to being what, 30 something, you know? So, you know, and then being educated, learning and stuff like that. So they did that kind of trope that you see a lot too, with like poor uneducated to, you know, educated, and really not poor either, because then her Lestat's money became her money, so she had money. You know, so yeah, so it was just, you know, like stuff like that, you know. But the accent was a little a little much at times, you know, but it didn't bother me that much where I didn't like it. But yeah, as soon as she came in the show, I fell in love with it, because it was just like,
me too.
Because as soon as they brought it in, it was like you saw the stress it put on the other characters, which is what having a kid does, you know, puts stress on a relationship, you know, especially I can't even imagine like a vampire, you know, homosexual relationship, you know, and then you skip. So yeah, it was kind of crazy, but I thought she did really, really well for what she did, and then her just becoming smarter and outthinking Lestat, and like you said, Brian,
even when
like
she became antagonistic to Lestat,
just
that whole part, that those 7 or 8 years was just unbelievable. It's just she just was, whatever you are, I'm anti you. No, I don't care about you. You know, we know what Louis is, but you know, I don't care. You don't. I don't call you uncle nothing.
Yeah. But like Jorge said, Claudia in 5, 6, and 7 was amazing. That chess scene, that's the part, you know, and even Cookie agrees that chess scene was brilliant. Because like you already think chess, you're like, oh, you know, the metaphor of, you know, playing chess in real life type of stuff, but like doing that while you're playing chess and you're having a conversation how you're gonna defeat the person you're playing chess with as you're playing chess with them. It was like it was just so good, and it was such a like
playing the part within playing the part. It was just like
you know, but this all makes sense. Like that scene, I'm just sitting on the edge of my seat. I was like, oh my god, you know, like, but she's messing with the Lestat, so he doesn't realize she's having a conversation with Louis, and it was like, so he's getting pissed off. Otherwise, he would have noticed, you know. So, you know, it's just like how smart she was. You know, she's like, I just love that we're, you know. But that was the only thing I think if we had more time with Dunst, maybe we would have got more of that from her. But she was in, you know, just a 2-hour movie. You had to skip a lot of stuff and get to where you get, you know. So yeah. So
no, it's amazing. It's great to see all these things, and you know, I think.
But and it seems like she's gonna have a good career.
These are 2 great actresses, though. These are 2 great actresses. That's what I want to say. I want to make sure everyone understands that. Can't hear you, Tank. Uh-oh. We lost him.
No audio. I don't hear him either.
Well, as we were saying, so Claudia also, so her relationship with Louis is also another character too. If you really want to talk about that, because Louis he lost his family, he lost all that, and then he has her to kind of build that relationship and give him back that semblance of a life. Mm-hmm. And that is another character within itself, and that's another reason why I enjoy the show, because you can see that relationship, and that was so very important, just for the character development for everybody. Let me see, we got exactly what Knox said. I really love Claudia and Louis' relationship way more in the show than in the movie, especially more than the book, because the book there's some things that kind of like have a sexual relationship, and she's 5 years old, and that's just like,
well, yeah, I mean, I can't even wrap my head around, like, what was the creative decision with having a 5 or a 7-year-old character and then have a romantic relationship with a grown-ass man? I don't even,
But I think Brandon talked about this before, that really this was something for her to write, because she lost her daughter. So she based Claudia on her own daughter, who was 5 or 6 when she lost her. So that's the reason why she was aged at the point she was.
Okay.
But I think the story, once you base the character on someone, and the story kind of took a life of its own and kind of went on. It's not like she was thinking about her daughter doing these things. Well, it was just more the relationship kind of made a life of its own. She even said that Louis was really based on her, like her and her husband's relationship was Louis and Lestat. Sometimes she was Louis, sometimes she was Lestat.
Oh, okay.
And then Claudia was her daughter, and that's kind of how the whole relationship kind of was going, and that's why we saw a lot of this stuff. So,
all right, sorry about that, guys.
There we go.
My program just like closed down, so I don't know if you guys heard the beeps or not.
I was like, okay.
Sorry.
But the show actually gave Claudia depth. She was pretty dimensional in the book. She was very one-dimensional, and Kirsten Dunst did a better job in the movie, and then I think Bailey Bass did an even better job in the show, because they get more depth, but she had more time to do it. I think that's what Tank was going when he kind of got cut off.
So,
Doc says, the second I heard Claudia call Louis and Lestat Daddy Lou and Uncle Les, I was like, thank God they're not going to make this relationship weird.
For sure.
Horror Geek says, like, I adore Claudia's relationship with Louis on the show. Something I did not care for in the book or movie. And then she said, the train scene between them broke my heart.
Yeah, that was
That's another relationship though. The Claudia and Lestat relationship was amazing in itself too. That was he was just, you saw how dominant of a presence he was, and how dominant of a person he is, and how terrible of a person he really was. Just to do those things. The books are full of incest, looking at Lestat and his mom.
Oh, there's some more of that in there.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I'm very tempted to check out these books now.
Books.
Check them out.
Anne Rice is an amazing writer.
Yeah.
She really is.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the Vampire Lestat is going to be the one that you're really going to love.
How many novels are we talking about here? Is it just like 2 or 3, or am I?
No, the Vampire Chronicles is a pretty big thing. There's quite a few of them. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head.
I'm looking up.
We're talking about like Harry Potter levels, like 7, 8, something like that.
There's more. I want to say there's more than that.
Wow,
15.
15. That sounds about right.
15. See, I can't get started, man.
I'm
a completionist.
We're gonna be here next year, like, man, I can't believe I still gotta go. Got more.
15 books. That's wild.
Yeah.
Cookie's starting the books tomorrow.
Oh no.
What the trio laughed to do.
I love the scene where the trio laughed at the vampire movie, and Lestat imitated the vampire to make Louis and Claudia laugh. I do like Lestat versus Claudia dynamic, but I do like the sweet moments. They, just like any other family, they did have sweet moments. Yeah. She said, Cookie said, I'm starting the books tomorrow. And she said, like 13 books.
Yeah, there's a bunch.
Or Geek says, you can stop at Queen of the Damned. It should have just ended there. He said the show's only focusing on the first 5.
All right, so maybe I read the first 5 then.
And then we'll be able to see,
I can do
you know,
5.
season
5's
2.
reasonable.
Yeah,
So,
5.
Yeah.
We could do that.
Yeah,
That's
let me
awesome.
see. I have.
I just want my Vampire Lestat show, and I want my Queen of the Damned show, and I want them done correctly.
There you go. That's probably what we're getting next because you got Interview, then Vampire Lestat, Queen of the Damned, Tale of the Body Thief. What was that? Monarch the Devil. Vampire Mod, Pandora.
You can stop at Vampire Mod. I really think so.
Yeah, so there's a lot.
We don't have to really flesh out the entire Vampire Armand thing, but just that in itself is pretty interesting. The fact that you know his power is mind control. So he does everything Lestat could do. He's older and can control mind. So you don't even know what Louis doing. You don't know if Louis doing what Louis. If Louis knows what he's doing, that's really interesting too.
Yeah.
I heard someone knocking on my door.
Banderas is I love his Armand, man, and I think he's perfect for a role like that. You know, I would have been curious to see them to go with like a Latino led, you know, Armand in the show. But I mean, we didn't get too much from the TV version, just a tease. But you know, he looks like he can hold his own.